Imagine waking up in a medieval town, where narrow streets trap thick, stagnant air, and before your eyes even open, a powerful stench fills your lungs so strongly it feels almost solid. It's easy to imagine medieval people as endlessly filthy, never bathing and living knee-deep in garbage, but the reality is far more complex, and far more disturbing. To truly understand how people stayed clean nearly 1,000 years ago, we must look past modern assumptions and step into a world without plumbing, germ theory, or modern sanitation, where every effort to remain clean was shaped by fear, belief, and limited knowledge. Contrary to popular belief, medieval people did bathe, especially in the early Middle Ages. In many towns, public bathhouses were common and inspired by Roman traditions, serving not only as places to wash but also as social centers where people talked, relaxed, and even ate together. Some bathhouses offered hot water heated by firewood, steam rooms, and massage services, and wealthy citizens often bathed weekly, which was considered frequent at the time. Over the centuries, however, bathing gradually fell out of favor. Religious leaders warned that frequent bathing encouraged vanity and sinful thoughts, and as deadly diseases spread, people began to believe that hot water opened the pores, allowing illness to enter the body. During plague outbreaks, many avoided bathing entirely, convinced that staying dirty might keep them safe, a belief that only made conditions worse. As bathing declined, medieval people found other ways to manage cleanliness. Soap existed, but it was nothing like modern soap, made from animal fat mixed with ash or lye. It was harsh, expensive, and usually reserved for washing clothes rather than bodies. Cleanliness focused on linen undergarments, which absorbed sweat and oils from the skin, making frequent changes of clothing a substitute for washing. To combat constant odors, people relied on perfumes, herbs, and smoke, carrying sachets of lavender, rosemary, or cloves, burning incense in their homes, or rubbing herbs directly onto their skin. These methods didn't remove dirt or bacteria, they simply masked the smell. Personal hygiene was basic and imperfect. Teeth were cleaned with cloth, fingers, or chewing sticks, and some wealthier individuals used powders made from crushed herbs, salt, or charcoal. Sugar was rare, so cavities were less common, but gum disease was widespread. Hair was washed occasionally with water, herbs, or weak soap, yet lice and fleas were everywhere. Head lice, body lice, and parasites were an accepted part of daily life for rich and poor alike, and scratching was so common it barely drew attention. Medieval combs were often designed specifically to remove lice, showing how normalized these infestations were. The most dangerous hygiene problem came from human waste. Most homes had no toilets and relied on chamber pots kept indoors, which were emptied into streets, rivers, or open pits. In crowded cities, people dumped waste directly from windows, sometimes shouting a warning before throwing it below. Castles often had latrines that emptied straight into moats, which slowly became foul, stagnant pools. Rivers served as sources for drinking, bathing, washing clothes, and disposing of waste all at once, making clean water rare and contaminated water deadly. These conditions helped fuel one of history's greatest disasters. In the 14th century, the Black Death swept across Europe, killing an estimated 1/3 to 1/2 of the population. People had no understanding of bacteria and blamed bad air, divine punishment, or witchcraft. In reality, filthy streets, crowded living conditions, rats, and fleas created the perfect environment for the plague to spread, as infected fleas traveled from rat to human, carrying death from house to house. Ironically, many people avoided bathing during the plague, believing it made them more vulnerable, unknowingly helping the disease spread even faster. Despite these harsh realities, medieval people were not foolish or careless. They worked with the knowledge available to them, and many understood that cleanliness mattered, even if they didn't know why. Monasteries often followed strict hygiene routines, and some cities introduced early sanitation laws. Slowly, through centuries of trial, error, and suffering, these lessons laid the foundation for modern hygiene. So the next time you turn on a faucet, brush your teeth, or step into a hot shower, remember that for medieval people, cleanliness was a daily struggle rather than a choice. Their world smelled worse, felt rougher, and was far more dangerous than ours, yet they endured, survived, and unknowingly paved the way for the hygiene we now take for granted.